Bart, final score tonight, 79-71. In many ways, it kind of was everything that maybe a 12 o'clock start would be. Kind of maybe anxious or a bit tentative in the early moments, but ultimately, you led by double figures. You pull out a win by 8 points. How would you assess the performance today? Did it fall along those lines for you?
Well, you know how what I'm going to say about the start. In my mind, it shouldn't matter if we play at noon or 9 a.m. or 3 a.m. We were supposed to do what we do and do it, like we do it. Yeah. The hard part of this game was on the defensive end. I'll have to look at the tape on the offensive end. I was pretty much the whole game just worried about, are we ever going to guard them and keep them out of the lane? Our defensive effort, our defensive intensity, our defensive focus was just as poor as we've been in years. Really disappointed in that. In the first half, when we track box touches, they turn it over 7 times, so we count those as they didn't get it in the box. But an actual stop, we only kept them out of the box 1 time. And when you look at box touches versus non-box touches, and we do it every game for our guys, when they get it into the lane like that, generally box touch possessions they're going to shoot 60 to 70% on. When you keep it out of there, they're going to shoot 15 to 25% on those possessions. And when you even it out, teams end up shooting 38, 40%, which is what we're used to. Well, when you keep it out of there 1 time, you have a team come in and shoot 60% in the first half on your home floor. So, that's very concerning, and the trend continued in the second half. I will say until we put Josh Brodowitz and Solomon in, and those guys did a fantastic job picking up our energy, keeping it out of there, and we ended up with 8 box touches, non-box touch possessions in the second half, but 6 of those were when those 2 guys were in there. So, I don't think those 2, maybe they scored 2 points between them.
Yes.
But I would say that those 2 won this game for us because they were able defensively to help those guys on the floor keep the ball out of the paint.
They finished at 53.8% shooting on the game. What is it specifically that they did well to allow them to have box touches? Because John and I both kind of remarked during the broadcast, we felt as if more so than most teams, they seemed to have ball handlers that could handle the pressure that you guys provided. Did you feel that same way?
Well, I don't want to say they didn't because they had good players and give them credit for playing a really good game and a really clean game. But I'll go back to when Josh Brodowitz was in there heating the ball up.
Yeah.
They didn't get it in there, and we've got to have that for the entire game. And I got to find guys that are going to do that and keep the ball out of there. So in the first half, they just set every type of ball screen they could set up top and then rolled it in the post, and we didn't guard either one. So this is not a. I don't want to take anything away from them, but we have to have more intensity. I don't think they saw, the Queens team that we usually are, where you're going to see pressure, you're going to maybe beat this guy a little bit, and there's somebody there to help him, and then there's a guy to help the helper. There was none of that, and for me, this game's disappointing just because of our defensive intensity.
Let's expand upon Solomon Smith and his return to the lineup because he missed 5 games. He missed almost a month to the day with a hand injury that he suffered in practice. Mm-hmm. What does having Solomon, just a freshman, back in the lineup really mean for this team?
Well, I think you saw a glimpse of it tonight. He has sure hands on offense, doesn't try to do anything he can't do, makes easy plays offensively, which is really important when you're looking for a piece to help you. And then defensively understands everything we're doing, and he took 2 big charges. But I would say in high school basketball, he might have led the country last year in high school basketball in charges taken. So that's what he does. So those are 2 unbelievably valuable things, especially for our team.
Last thing for you, Bart, the concept of playing 3 games in 4 days and playing 4 games in a span of 7 days and a 12 o'clock start time. It's tough to control all of the elements, all of the factors outside of basketball. It happens during the end of exam week. is there something that you can draw from this, as I try to find the positives from again, an 8-point win and your team is 10-0, but as we try to draw the positives from this, is there something that can be said by the fact that finally, in a moment late in games in a game where your team was tested, like you would become tournament time, they answered the bell?
Yeah, I told them in the locker room, that the great thing is we're 10-0 and we've learned lessons by winning games, and that's a tribute to how talented those guys really are, that they're able to defensively turn that off and on, and we still score more points than the other team. That's we are really, really talented, and those guys, even in a game where we didn't guard as well, they shared the ball. There was not one time where I was getting on them, but where they were really getting on each other. So it's a great group. It's they really want to win. I don't, as a coach, I don't put any credence. All right, exams, 12 o'clock. There's no crowd.
Game time's game time.
Yeah. You got to come and play, and we don't make excuses. We've got to do better on the defensive end. Palm Beach Atlantic is a good young team. They're well coached by a very veteran coach. I would say he outcoached me a good bit today. Hopefully we'll bounce back against Coker and play cleaner and play with more intensity, and we'll feel better about it after the game.
Coker on the road Monday night at 8 o'clock down in Hartsville, South Carolina. An 8-point win tonight for the Royals, 79-71. Bart Lundy, thank you.
Thank you, Phil.